Hey everyone, welcome to acceleratorsorg.com. Jeff Bruno, B Modeler. Good to see everyone, and I'm so glad to be here today again for an awesome live. I have some great questions that I just quickly reviewed. So excited to get jumping today. So let me just quickly say a couple things as I start the live. It is Friday, April 12th. So a lot of accountants out there, not me, because I'm not an accountant, financial and business strategist, are scrambling to get their returns done for the many, many businesses out there. I hope you have yours done already and you're filed on time so the IRS doesn't come knocking at your door. Be very careful there. And one thing that we've run into now with two clients, be cognizant of this, I'll just give you some piece of information. Two clients, we have had ERC claims get audited by the IRS. That's employee retention credits that were a very popular thing just in the last year and a half by some fraudulent groups. And the IRS is now auditing businesses for it. One of the businesses that I work for got under audit, and the IRS said, nope, this is not valid. The group that did it for you did it incorrectly, and we want all our money back, plus interest and penalty. And they have demand letters and so on. Be very careful. Make sure you did it correctly. Check with your experts and make sure you don't get hit by the IRS because they're on a path to find money. And my client got hit with $450,000 repay they had to do. Careful. So now, before I jump into questions, one last thing I want to say. Whoever's here listening on this live or will in the future, I just got off a few minutes ago with a call with Shelly Merrill. She's been a client of ours for over 3.5 years, I think 3.5 years. And I know she's a big accelerators supporter and so on. And I have to tell you, this is something that's going to be important for business owners on this to hear. We've been working with her for a while, but just in the last, I'll call it year and a half or so, she's really figured out how to stabilize her business model. Yeah, of course, some of it's from our help, but Shelly is an absolute baller when it comes to trying to get things done. She knocks problems off one by one, tackles them, and is a an incredible worker. And so we were just chatting. And for the first time in a few years, Shelly has strung together 5 consistent, and when I mean consistent, not months that go like this, very consistent because we fully set up her metric and measurement system so that they, by direct hours, by percentage of different lines of business that they should follow, by a few other different nuances of things that we track to keep her and her team aligned with the parameters, and they have successfully run 5 months of profitability and consistency, which is leading towards a much more stable business model, prepping her for further growth. And she's going to be on track for possibly her biggest year yet in the last 5 years. So we're very excited for her. It's something to be said for staying on top of your information. It's really, really critical because what it does is it gives you insight to where there are deficiencies or there's possibilities for improvement. So please, everyone, stay on top of it and you'll succeed in producing the most value for your model and for the customers you serve. All right, now let me jump into questions. First question is from Ricardo Delgado. Hey, Ricardo. Ricardo says, I'm interested in learning what do I need to sell my business in the future. I want to know what to have to do when selling a business, how do you price your business, and what should I be organizing throughout the year? I own a barbershop and knows that some people in my industry who need to exit eventually close their business. I'm looking to avoid doing this and sell the business versus have to close down. So, Ricardo, I think you asked this before, but I'll bring it up again. So, you can't really necessarily organize throughout the years for a sale. Let me be clear. So you have to understand what your type of business can do. from a sale perspective. So a barbershop, okay? What are you doing with barbershop? You're a service business, right? You're selling haircuts to people. And in theory, what the valuable piece of your business model is that you have recurring customers who always come to the, 5 to 7, making a number up, 5 to 7 barbers or stylists that you have on your team. And the consistency there is a value. So somebody who comes in is going to say, well, if I buy this business from the owner, I'm going to have those 5 to 7 people right away bringing in business. So that's valuable. It's like a recurring model, like a gym model or something like that. So there's value to that. So the problem is it's still a service business, meaning there's no IP, there's no tech, there's no major scalable component to this, meaning a company can't come in and go, oh, great, I'm going to go to 50 barbers from 7. That's not realistic because they would need a new location. They would need this. You don't have any IP that differentiates you from other barbershops or whatever because you're a good business model, but you're a business model that's a typical business model in the service space. So you're not going to get a high valuation. What I mean is service companies typically will get anywhere from, let's say, 1 times to 3 times on an offshoot, 4 times EBITDA. So if you do $1 million and you're bringing in 200,000 of profit, of which you take it all out, you take all the profit, that's fine. But let's say you're bringing 200,000 in profit, 20% net profit, which is a good net profit number. Let's say you're doing that. Somebody says, I want to buy you. They're going to say, we'll buy you for 400,000, 2 times that EBITDA number. Maybe 600,000 if a lot of your customers are repeat customers and you can show that somehow. You could say, oh, well, John comes every Tuesday or every, 3 Tuesdays. Sally comes every 6 weeks. If you can show that and show the consistency and you have a system, a very good system to track that and make sure they stay in and they come in, that's more valuable. So that could increase your value from 2 times to 3 times, which is pretty substantial. I mean, you can go from $400,000 sale to $600,000 sale on $1 million business. So, and maybe if you're really that lucky, you say, I'll stay around and help you recruit some more barbers because I know how to do that really well. Give me a couple of $100,000 more over the next year or two. You might be able to get some earn-out construct in that too. So the way I would say it is figure out ways to decide how your business is recurring and how you can show that to a prospective buyer. So over the years, build that and say, hey, 60% of our business is recurring and the others are walk-in or whatever that is. The better it is, the more money you're going to get upon a sale. Next question is from Kimberly Benjamin. How much should you start paying off your How much should you start off paying your personal assistant? Recently, I've realized the necessity of having a personal assistant to aid me in submitting applications while I focus on sales. Given the nature of my work, clients might face rejections from one company, prompting me to various others on their behalf. This is a significant amount of time, so I decided to hire someone to streamline it. While I have a clear idea of the tasks involved in the insurance business, I'm unsure if the proposed payment of $1,500 per month is adequate or excessive. Ideally, I aim to increase the monthly compensation to $2,500 to $3,500 as I become more comfortable with the arrangement. I've communicated to the assistant that I'm reaching a monthly application count of 60 to 80 that would justify this increase in payment. Kimberly, this is tough. So I agree with your assessment of bringing in an assistant or essentially someone who's on the admin side to streamline that process. So I guess you could do more business development or more essentially sales generation. I guess that's what you're saying, to close more business. So I think that's a good idea. It's just very hard to say what you should start paying. I think it depends on the volume construct. So if they're doing a set task, and you kind of mentioned this a little bit, but if they're doing a set task, 60 applications, well, how long does it take you to do 60 applications? If it takes you, I don't know, let's say it takes you 50 hours a month to do let's do 60 hours a month, easy math. 60 hours a month to do 60 applications. So it's an hour per application for you to do it. And your cost is really 150, let's go easy math again, 100 an hour. So it's costing you $6,000 a month of your time to do those applications. So that's what your time is worth. If this assistant is coming in and you're paying them, let's say $20 an hour, okay, to do the work, then you're getting a 5 multiplier on your time. So if they could do 60 applications in the same amount of time for 60 hours, that would be $1,200 a month. And you're saving $80 of time that you would otherwise spend. And then what I would say, Kimberly, is since you're saving that time, you have to translate that time into value add. And what does that mean? That means translate that into new sales. So if you're saving time, it's not that you're actually going to save cost because you're the owner, but you should increase revenue. So that's my recommendation. Bring him in and say, set parameters. Say, I'm going to pay this person $1,200 a month for 60 applications. Normally that would cost me $5,000. So I'm saving there. But with my time, can I generate, the delta, I'll call it $3,800 of, or $5,000 of your time of new revenue? What does that look like? Well, and then calculate that. Maybe it's $10,000 that you can generate with that new time. Maybe it's more than that per month. Well, there you go. That's your calculation on how you can streamline and scale the business and build in more profit and revenue. Jennifer Southall says, do you use an attorney for creating legal documents in the beginning, or is it okay to use some of these online services or templates I can find online? I recently purchased an art gallery that provides consignment art, and I also do weekly instructional art classes and weekend workshops, along with on-off-site paint and sip parties at homes, restaurants, wineries, and other places. I'm asking because I purchased this business under the impression that documents and stuff were in place, only to find out it was all intertwined with the owner's personal life and not really professional at all. So, Jennifer, it depends. Now, I can't give you real advice on this because I'm not an attorney, and I would recommend you ask an attorney. But you have to assess the risk. What attorneys do? The attorneys always assess risk, and they give you the options around risk. If you do this, here's your out risk. If you do this, here's your risk. So my recommendation is talk to an attorney and say, what is the risk of me not having a agreement with the client? What's the risk to me? They'll say, well, okay, I need that agreement. What's the risk for my a contractor working for me not having a contractor agreement if they're not an employee? What's the risk? No. Okay, I'm gonna make that because that's too high a risk for me. You need to have that assessment in the document you're going to bring, and whether you want an attorney to do it or not. That's my advice. I can't get into too many specifics around it. Next question is from Aaron Hudson. Aaron says, how to reach and appeal to cash-rich, time-poor potential customers. I developed a pioneering DNA testing service that provides comprehensive insights into an individual's genetic blueprint. This enables us to offer tailored advice on exercise regimes, dietary plans, supplement intake, and lifestyle adjustments for a healthier, happier, and stronger life. Building on this, we provide personalized fitness consult and coaching services. Whether the goal is weight loss, fitness improvement, muscle gain, or any other fitness aspiration, our monthly programs are designed to meet these diverse needs. Our service is particularly suited to professionals with busy schedules or individuals keen on leveraging their genetic predispositions to achieve their fitness goals more efficiently. However, I find myself at the crossroads in identifying and engaging with this target audience effectively. Previously, I engaged an agency to implement targeted Facebook, Instagram advertising campaigns, complemented by a sales funnel page and dedicated sales calls for lead conversion. Despite our efforts in refining the strategy, the campaign didn't yield the desired results, leading to its discontinuation after 4 months. This experience has prompted me to consider the efficacy of Meta as a marketing platform and to explore other avenues like LinkedIn, which might align better with our target demographic. Moreover, it's led me to question the viability of the concept itself. Given the complexity of reaching and appealing to the intended audience, I'm eager for your insights, although I'm aware of the broad nature of my question. Wow, Aaron, that is a loaded question. So this is definitely more tilted to the marketing angle, I believe here. But I guess I'll speak from some experience to this a little bit. So you're kind of in a situation where you're trying to look for product market fit. So you have a product, which by the way sounds very intriguing. I wonder, how I'd love to see more of that. But what is it? What is the problem that you're trying to solve? So if you know the problem you're trying to solve, if you have problem solution fit, and you're just trying to get product market fit in your system here, then you need to figure out, well, if I know what problem I have a solution for, then how do I get those people in the market to understand that they have that problem and that my product solves that issue for them to get to product market fit? So I don't think it's just about what marketing service or what marketing platform you use. I think that's secondary on the list. Meaning, I think you got to figure out what problem you're helping these people with and what in the market they're willing to pay for that. So you got to test. You got to test. Friends, family, your network, give it away for free. Follow up with questionnaires. Did I solve your problem? What would you pay for it if, that since it really did solve your problem? Would you come back for more coaching on exercise routines because of the way that this told you what you have to do? How often would you do that? You have to get research. And then when okay, this seems like the best approach, then narrow your stuff down to platforms and spend some dollars to go after that more specific approach that is probably better product market fit. So that's a better way to do it. Unfortunately, you're not going to make a lot of money doing this because you have to kind of give the product away to see what people will say about it. Next question is from Jamie Smith. This is a broad question. I love your advice on as an experienced business person. I'm new to AO. What are the top things I can do to get a jump start in getting my business and overall life better? I'm a baker and licensed massage therapist, so I love both and want to build them. I'm currently pregnant and due in May, so kind of feeling in limbo right now, but I'm ready to change my life and future to what I want it to be. Jamie, love it. Baker and massage, way different things. So you gotta pick. You can't do baking and massage. I mean, as a business model, no. Jamie, if you want to do baking on the side and just make a few $100s a month to pay some bills, okay. If you want to do massage occasionally for friends and family, make some things on the side to pay some bills, okay, because you love them both. But if you're going to do a business model, you need to focus on one. There's no way. They're way too different models. You will get distracted. You will be a mess. You will never make it. And I know I'm sounding harsh. Jamie, hear me. You will never make it outside of a few $1,000s a month, possibly a few $1,000s a month on the side hustles of these things. You will not be able to build a business out of it. You have to focus on one, okay? Now, if I had my choice, I would take massage. The reason I would pick a massage is it's an easier business model. Massage is you doing it at first, and then it's just labor. Now, it's certified labor who's done massage, who knows how to do it, but the people that you would hire would be labor. Whereas when you're in the baking world, there's products that spoil. The commodity prices change all the time. You have to store and refrigerate. You need capital costs of machinery to build for baking. You need a space to have. It is a complete mess of an upfront capital cost to build a baking scenario. So if I were to have the two, I would go massage. Massage number one. And because you're pregnant and you're about to have a child, I don't know what your personal situation is, but, I obviously didn't have a child. My wife did. But when she did, I can tell you that it was absolutely disruptive for me as well. Even though my wife was off during the initial part of the baby's time, it was still disruptive for me. Less sleep, blah, blah, blah. For you, it's going to be heavily disruptive, no matter what. So I would be careful with that, launching a business. Once you get stabilized, child's a little older, 3 months, 4 months, they're in some kind of daycare thing, go for it. But do massage. That's my advice. So next is Kimberly Benjamin says, how do I handle a team member not following processes I create for them? I recently hired my first assistant. I observed that she's most productive when I'm present. However, when I'm not around, she doesn't follow simple instructions like texting me upon completing tasks from the to-do list. Be a good boss, but I also want things done the way I want it. What do I do when she won't follow processes? Kimberly, this is a great question. So here's what I think are 2 things, and I don't know your situation, and I don't know how you are as a boss, so bear with me. But I can tell you what I've seen, okay? Sometimes, and please, I'm not saying you do this, but sometimes bosses don't realize what they're doing. And what I mean by that is sometimes you put a task on an employee that is kind of an erroneous task or is ineffective or slows them down. So you might say, hey, text me when you're done X. And the person's like, look, I'm trying to get A through J done. And I need the time, and for me to text you or do this or this, and then you send me some questions back and forth, well, why was this? And that's disruptive. I'm trying to knock these out, and having that kind of parameter is disruptive. I'm not saying in your case it is. What I'm saying is you got to be careful what kind of processes you put in place so they're not disruptive to an employee. So what might be better is to say, listen, I trust you to get these done. How many can you get done in a day of these applications or these things? How many? Here's what you have to do. How many can you get done? And you throw it on them to say how many they can get done. And they say, I can get done effectively 5 in a day. Okay, that's your metric. So at the end of the day, every day you log in and you see if 5 are done. And if only 3 are done, then you call her up and go, hey, what's the problem? Is there something I can do to help you to get 5 done? Because that's the parameter you agreed on after going through the process with me. Is there something that's going wrong with your system that I may be able to help improve because I might know how to do it a little better since I've been doing it longer than you? And she might say, yes, I kind of get stuck here and then I get a little disparaged and I don't want to reach out to you to bother you and I don't know how to do it, so I try to go online and research and I can't get it right and yada, 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 yada. Oh, well, here's how you do it. Tip number 1. Hit me up if you need tips. So instead of her texting you when it's complete, because she feels like maybe that's weird and she wants to get them done, text me if you run into a problem. And at the end of the day, you said you could do 5. I just want to see 5 at the end of the day. Problem solved. You have a productive employee. Why? Because you're getting the stuff done that you want, and she's asking you for help if needed to make sure she gets those done. Okay? Final question for today, and these are great questions, everybody, today. Thank you so much. Final question is from Jeff Bruno. How do I balance the lowering of my personal income when hiring my first team member? It's definitely a mindset change for me. I have concerns about changing my personal pay. Right now, all the money made is mine, and I don't really separate it. I haven't always been used to high income, but last year, my largest year with a gross of $220K and a net of around $180K. I love the life I provide my family, but I'm losing more and more hours at home. What's the best way to prepare for the change? My business is a home inspection company. I am solo preparing for my first hires this year. Thank you. So Jeff Bruno, this is not an uncommon question. It's almost the most question I get. It's the question I get most of all the time. So from this group. So when you're substituting in somebody to do the work that you do, you have to get a return on that person. Okay? And you have to see that person improving on the return. So from the beginning, you have to set up an expectation both for you and that person. So, hey, John, I'm going to hire you. Here's the deal. I'm going to pay you $60,000 a year, whatever, $70,000 a year, okay? But I expect you to be up and running, fully effective in 2 months from training with me, okay? So what that means is, John, by month 4, your workload has to be minimally covering your salary or over your salary, whatever parameters is in your business. Your workload has to be there. by 4 months. And that means, so you have then 4 months of lower income that you, so let's say it's $5,000 a month. So you have 4 months of $5,000 less income to you. So $20K less income. So you can budget that and say, hey, family, I got $20K less income. I got a plan for 4 months. I'm going to bring this person in. They're going to, by the end of 4 months, they're going to cover themselves, and then it's all gravy from there. We're going to start making more money. So 2 ways to do this. One, you can say to John, here are the training parameters that I need you to complete in order for you to be up to snuff on that. And I need you to have that many inspections by month 4 to cut, or at least by month 5 churning, so that you can cover month 5 his salary. Okay? So John understands the expectations from day one. So that's first. Complete this training, be able to do this, so you can map that over the first 2 months and see how he's proceeding along that to make sure he's on track for that. The second is give him an incentive plan. Give him an incentive plan. Say, John, after you surpass 5,000, for every 1,000 over that per month, I'm going to give you 10%. $100, extra $100 a month, whatever it is, whatever your margin scenario makes out to be. So makes it effective. So that if John gets to $10,000 a month, now John is seeing $500 more a month, which is $6,000 more a month in a raise, which is about 10%, is a 10% raise for John. And guess what you're seeing in that scenario? You're seeing $4,500 more than you were making before. Okay? So training, clarity, incentive program once it gets past that point, and you're going to rock it, man. That's the way to do it. And then you have an expectation with your family that you're only losing 20 or 30K at most in your income for that set period. And you'll recover that in the next 4 or 5 months after that. And then you're off to the races. All right? Hope that was helpful, Jeff. Crank it, man. I love where you're at. Get it going. Guys, everybody, this was an awesome time. Great questions. Keep these kind of questions coming. I love them. I hope I can be helpful here. And Jeff Bruno from B Modeler. Have a good day, everyone. Take care.